Start bit. Okay, we're live. Okay. Yo, Ellis.
Yo, good evening.
Okay, so Liverpool. So what was the final Liverpool score? Was it 3-0?
Yo, 3-0, man. Past the pad, man.
So who scored for?
Lallana got 2 and Origi got 1.
Origi's still frauding his way through.
Nah, Origi. Origi's a good player, man. Origi's got great feet, very quick, very strong. He's in amongst the goals. He's getting confident.
Yeah, he's starting to score quite a bit now, actually.
Yeah, man. It's 5 and 5 for him. So, and it's good because obviously the injuries to Sturridge and Coutinho, respectively. So he's taking his chances.
What, is Sturridge still injured? Because I saw somebody tweet that a Sturridge Liverpool career is over, but I didn't understand why.
Nah, he's injured. Well, it's mad because obviously everyone knows he hasn't really been playing. So when Christmas was coming up, obviously everyone knows Mane's leaving, or not leaving, but Mane's going to.
Oh yeah, he's going to African Nations.
African Nations. So we thought, yeah, this is Sturridge's chance to get a little run in the team. All of a sudden, he's got a calf injury. Misses one game. I think this is the third game he's missed. Klopp says he doesn't know when he's coming back.
That is an absolute mess.
It's a mess. So, but yeah, like I said, luckily we're still scoring goals.
Yeah,
even though the last 2 games before this one wasn't positive results, we still got 5 goals from the 2 games. So we're still doing all right.
Yeah. Okay, so describe today's game to me. So you're away to Borough. So you were a bit like nervous in our own personal chat because of Mignolet and Lovren, the banter brothers. But so firstly, take me through the match. I don't know who just joined the thing with their music. They need to turn it off.
Fuck that, bro. Listen to that shit, fam.
No, we're broadcasting, you know. Imbecile.
What's that?
Imbecile.
You're an imbecile, fam.
And anyway, go on.
It's fun. Yeah. So the game started off. First 30 minutes, it started like any away game. I think Liverpool started off quite slowly. Obviously, you know, because it's a home team, you want to take the sting out of their performance because they're going to come all guns blazing. So Liverpool done that first 30 minutes, controlled the game. Then Lallana scores from a good sweeping move. I think it's a cross from Klein.
Well, Klein actually comes in, making attacking.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? You know how funny it is? Because before the game, I saw a tweet where someone said Klein's woeful at crossing.
Yeah, and he gets an assist.
And he gets an assist, which is kind of funny, man. That's just how football is, isn't it? Even before all of that, I thought Liverpool was. Well, I thought we're gonna lose because obviously
I really don't understand why. Because Borough's solid, but I don't think they're gonna do you any damage, even though your defense is a bit shaky. And I felt that your last 2 Prem games were the 2-2 draw of West Ham, and then was it the 4-3 loss to Bournemouth?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way like Klopp's team want to go 3 games
without getting a win.
I thought they're gonna respond, especially because in those 2 previous games, he scored 5 goals. So twice a day they're gonna win the game, which is very
exactly that. So yeah, we started well. We took the lead on 30 minutes, and after that, to be fair, we've been in control, man. And what I did love today was our in-game management. Remember on the pod a couple of weeks ago, I was saying that against Bournemouth, our in-game management was very poor. Hence us losing the game. But today was 2-0 up, and we're playing football in their half. We'll come back to our half, just pass it around, just taking the sting out of the game. Just keeping the ball, keeping it under pressure, keeping Middlesbrough under pressure. Origi's goal for the second goal was really good football, good one-touch passing from everyone. Mane was on fire. He was unfortunate not to get a goal. He was unlucky not to get a goal. It was really good. Liverpool. It was a professional performance. 3-0 away from home.
You can't be mad. You scored 3 goals away from home. You didn't concede. You got the points.
You can't be upset, man. You can't be upset.
Yeah, that's how it should be. I think Liverpool have enough quality to be making a performance on a fairly consistent basis.
Exactly.
With regards to Mane, like those that followed me or you lot know that I wasn't the greatest fan. But when you lot signed them, I even tweeted plenty of times. It's like 35, 36 seems a bit steep, but I just know this guy's gonna bang for Liverpool. Like, how would you assess him being at Liverpool so far? Like, do you feel value for money? Because personally, I think he is because he's doing the business, bro.
You know, I didn't really rate him. So when I was putting 36 million on him, I was like, what have Liverpool done? I thought this is another Lallana. Before this season, I thought, come on, spending money on some mediocre middle team player. But my God, has he blown me away, man. He's quick, he's strong, he's incisive. He can use his left, his right. And for a short man, he has a leap. He has a very, very good leap for a very short man. Well, he's definitely a spark. He gets us up the pitch very quickly. And in football, you need people like that. Like the great Man United team had it with Giggs. He'll get Man United out the pitch quickly, like 30 yards, bam, up because he's so quick. Henry, you need people like that.
Bale, Hazard, those type of guys.
Hazard, those type of guys who are just gonna get you out the pitch as quick as possible, and he does that for Liverpool. He's a good footballer too, good feet, good footballer. So I like him. I think he's so far he's looking at value for money. He's gonna be a big miss. We're gonna miss him for a month. Hopefully Liverpool can. They won't replace him, but hopefully they can do something where somebody can take the pressure off a little bit.
Okay, I was going to ask 2 questions. One, when is Coutinho and Sturridge likely to be back in regards to, obviously, Mane will be dipping off to play in African Nations Cup like by late December, I'm assuming. So when are Coutinho and Sturridge scheduled to be back?
Coutinho, he's saying himself that he should be back for the Man City game. And if I think the Man City game's December 31st, I think.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's the end of this month. He's saying to be back. Sturridge, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea. I haven't heard nothing. I haven't read anything. Klopp says he doesn't know. So with Sturridge's injuries, you just have to take it day by day, man. Because he could say, "Yeah, I'm back." Next thing you know, boom, he's gone again. So it's really unfortunate. But with Sturridge, I'm not too sure. I don't think we're gonna see him play again in this calendar year.
Okay. And the second question I was going to ask you: how did your defense look today?
Do you know it is Middlesbrough didn't really create
have
much.
A threat.
They didn't really have a threat. Obviously, they had a couple of chances, but it was like half chances that wouldn't really cause you to have sleepless nights. So the defense was calm. Clavan, a big shout out to Clavan because he was good today, man. He's a good footballer. He's got really good feet.
I don't know why, but his name just I don't trust him, fam.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. I know. He's from Estonia, a random man there. No, but to be fair, like he's really, really good defender, really good football. And I think he allowed Lovren. He kept Lovren a bit calm because Lovren is an erratic. He's so erratic. So, but again, they didn't really cause any threat to Liverpool. It was comfy. Liverpool was very comfy.
Okay. So that's Liverpool done. So Kane, are you still here? Kane.
I am.
Okay. So I didn't see the Arsenal game yesterday. I was why didn't I see the Arsenal game? What the hell was I doing? Oh yeah, I was out. But what happened in the game? So when I saw the result, I was a bit surprised because Everton hadn't really impressed me for a minute, and Arsenal seemed to be on a roll. But like it kind of seems to me like when Arsenal plays something half decent, like it's a bit shaky. So
it wasn't even like half decent. It wasn't a quality thing. It's just obviously you want to go a lot because Everton
Sanchez
really,
again?
really, yeah. But it was like a deflection. It wasn't a quality goal or anything.
But were you value for your 1-goal lead though?
Up until the goal, yeah. Like we were easily in control. We created a semi-decent chance with Ozil with a cutback, and then he didn't really get it on target. He didn't really hit it the way he should have hit it. And then we obviously won a goal up, and then the crowd really, really got behind Everton. I mean, sometimes games are won by players. Sometimes games are won by tactics. This game was just won by just character and spirit and energy. Everton they got minerals out of nowhere, and then Arsenal just wasn't able to manage the game, wasn't able to match that energy. I would say, relatively speaking, the intensity wasn't too bad, but it was just the characters and also just an inability to manage the game. Ozil had an off night. To be fair, he wasn't bad. Like I'm seeing some people say, like he was absolutely terrible. Like he was standard. Like there was nothing great.
Let me find quickly. I think Ozil's one of them guys. Yeah, with his body language, he's like Berbatov. He's like Zlatan. When you have that kind of relaxed body language, you're not buzzing around the pitch. When you're not on it, you look so much worse.
Yeah.
Because sometimes Sanchez, like he's not on it, but because he's running around trying, you still think like he's trying to affect the game. So I think Ozil's because he has that body language that kind of like lets him down if things ain't really going too well.
Yeah, so that was that was something to take notice of. He had another chance in the second half that he should have at least got on target, but a guy of his ability, you would expect to actually score there in that situation, especially with his goal record.
Was that a no?
No, that was at 1-1.
Oh, so he had a chance to
Yeah, the chance. The chance at 0-0 and a chance at 1-1. So obviously the one at 1-1 is obviously the one that kind of defines the game. And it wasn't even like Everton created a lot of clear-cut chances. To be fair, like they really didn't. But it's really, really increased their aggression, their intensity, the pace that they were playing the game at.
What got the crowd into the game? Was it the goal or was it like I don't know?
No, it was before. It was from before. So this is
or one something does and the crowd.
No, not at all. It started literally as soon as they went to go down. Like all of a sudden, just turn up, just like nah. Like obviously we haven't won in 10. I think it was 9 or 10. They started the game off really, really lackluster. And then you've got to be able to do that. That's part and parcel of competing at the top. You've got to be able to manage those kind of scenarios, whether it be a tactical thing, whether it be just I don't know, just the characters that you have. I will say one big miss, and I'll say less defensively, actually more in terms of build-up, was Mustafi. I think a big part of his game that's really helped us play is playing out of the back, because he's arguably better than Koscielny playing forward. And I feel like you can't just rely on Xhaka to kind of dictate that from deep, because Mustafi can actually carry the ball pretty well. He's got good pass along the floor. So we missed that. I feel in terms of personnel, outside of maybe just sharpness, because that was essentially the same lineup that started outside of Bellerin. He came on obviously a little bit into the first half versus Stoke, but I was a bit apprehensive about in terms of fitness doing the same starting 11 in the space of 3 days. But I still feel like that's the kind of players I'd want to approach the game with anyway. I'd want Xhaka and Coquelin starting. I'd want Chamberlain playing away from home, because I feel like teams give us more space when obviously they're at home, and Oxlade is more effective than Iwobi in that kind of scenario. And then we actually had a lot of chances to go in behind, especially down our left flank earlier on. Coleman left a lot of space to take advantage of. Monreal was overlapping well, and Chamberlain was doing that too. And obviously Ozil, Sanchez got it there, and Walcott there. So personnel I had very, very little complaints, and I feel like the game plan didn't seem particularly. There's no issue with the game plan. Defensively, we weren't open. I think going forward, obviously, we weren't as creative as we should have been. So, the biggest factor there was just, again, character and intensity. I still feel like Arsenal fans are going a bit overboard, because it's 2 defeats in how many games? 2 defeats in what, 15 this season. But it does put more pressure on it. It's not an ideal situation to go into, because at least if we win versus Everton and nick a draw at City away, especially as if they won tonight, then in retrospect it looks a bit better. But now you've got a potentially resurgent City team, and you've got well, 2-0. I mean, we're benefiting in the sense that they're lacking Fernandinho, Gundogan, and Aguero, and I'm not too sure who else is out that would have been playing. But I feel it does put on a bit more pressure to win, especially as the rest of the teams around us have won. But again, these are challenges that title challenging teams have to do. You have to go through this. This isn't something that we should be fearful of. Obviously there's a risk that we could lose, but I'm part of a faction of Arsenal fans that likes challenge, that relishes these type of scenarios, because all of our title wins under Wenger, we've had to go through this type of situation before. When we won it in 97, 98, we were 12 points behind in March. 2000, 2001, 2002, that's like Manchester United at their peak, whilst they were truly the dominant side in England. And we had to obviously put in work. Obviously, the Invincible season speaks for itself. And it's a type of thing that every title-winning team in general has to manage, setbacks. So we don't have any new injuries. Hopefully, might get Ramsey back for that game. So it's always good to have as much personnel available to you as possible. But it's a test of character. So we'll see how it goes.
We've got what I wanted to speak on, because obviously I didn't see the game, but it just seems like Arsenal I think United suffer from this a bit as well. That there seems to be like a lack of bottle. I feel like certain games, when the tempo goes up, the other teams put on it, Arsenal don't really back to the challenge. I think obviously footballing wise, Arsenal, they could play teams off the pitch, but when another team has not that far off talent and they have a high intensity, I feel like Arsenal struggle. And I feel like United have shown such a lack of bottle throughout this whole season. So How do you think that will affect you coming into the title race? Because if you look at your fixtures, apart from United away, you've played Liverpool at home, Chelsea at home, Spurs at home. So you still got to do the reverse of those fixtures. So how do you feel like you guys could deal with that possible adversity in the second half of the season? Or do you think you can, or do you think you, or I don't know?
No, it's a good question. I mean, it's got to be highlighted that traditionally, Arsenal fans have tended to have a young squad, especially when we were kind of like nearing towards the top of the table.
I think there's an echo, guys.
No, it's. You might hear echo if you still have your YouTube on. Like, turn off the YouTube link and just keep this one on.
Yeah, I don't have a YouTube link open.
No, not you. There's not echo for you. I'm talking to me. But carry on.
No, because I can hear it too, to be fair. But anyway, So when we've tended to challenge for the title, we tend to have like younger squads, or we haven't had the personnel available. So I feel like it depends on the situation that we're in. If we have all of our players available, possible, and we go into it and we're stopped. Because to be fair, I do kind of fancy us against even away. Not necessarily to win, but to get a decent result. So whether that be nicking a draw or getting a fight win, I'm not particularly fearful. So we'll see, because I do feel like character in a lot of areas. Where we failed is either having not the players to be able to compete in those scenarios. So as an example, versus Liverpool, we're winning and we considering a goal. Ramsey.
Hello, yeah, it's fair.
No, it's definitely you. It's coming from yours.
All right, cool. I'll mute my gun.
So I can hear it too.
It's definitely Aos because I can see it. Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. Better, much better. I feel like if the personnel is there, then we'll be fine. But and then again, sometimes it's about game management coming from the coach too. So it's not something I can really accuse of Wenger lacking a lot this season. But we'll see.
Okay. I think I didn't watch the game yesterday, but it sounded like a game where you could have used Giroud, especially when it's those games where, like, from what the lads were saying in the chat, that Everton are really like onto Arsenal pressing well. Sometimes you need a player that can relieve the press in terms of like aerial balls. I was saying that to you lot when you played us, like we're pressing you, and you lot just couldn't deal with it. You just kept on El Neni, the frauds, and Ramsey, the banter man, kept on giving us the ball back every single time. And sometimes that's where Giroud is so useful for Arsenal, because you can go back to front and relieve that pressure, and he can make the ball stick. So I feel like yesterday, maybe you could have used him. And even funny enough, tonight I just went to link up with one of my boys, and he knows Welbeck, and he bumped into him literally tonight in Leicester Square. And Welbeck said that he's nearing full recovery. So I feel like maybe Welbeck we're able to give you something different in these type of games where you're playing against teams that your passing game and playing through the lines isn't working as much. You could get something to help you relieve the pressure with their aerial presence as well. And I think did you concede from a set piece as well?
Yeah. I mean, it was just poor marking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Giroud and Welbeck.
I mean, I did say.
Helped in that front. Go on.
Well, just went man for a second. I did say that I felt like one of the main subs that we should have put on is actually El Neni for Cock. LN, pause. Because, at that point, I just felt like we needed players that could manage the game a little bit and just relieve pressure, and having him sit alongside Xhaka would have done a lot in that regard. Definitely Giroud as well, and Iwobi. I felt like if we had put on Iwobi, Giroud, and on any those are players that kind of take the pace off the game a little bit, retain possession when it's needed, and then go forward. But you know what, shit happens. You learn from it. If it's a pattern that we see consistently happening for the next few games, then it's like, okay, this is a major issue. But sometimes you just got to look at things in context. I think yes, there's credit to the suggestion that we don't perform versus the more put together teams as possible. But at the end of the day, like we're joint second. It's not suitable because we're now 6 points behind Chelsea, and Chelsea are just looking very formidable right now, which I'm sure we'll get into in a minute. But up until this becomes a pattern during this particular league campaign, I don't think it's cause of major concern.
Okay, let me. So, in regards to you saying you don't feel like there's a cause for complaint or a cause to be worried, but it may not be a pattern across this season, but it's a pattern across the last 5 seasons, for example, where a team starts to raise the tempo and you guys just can't control it. You guys don't know how to handle it. You guys don't know how to when it's a backsaw the wall situation, you guys don't seem to know how to deal with it. You tend to crumble. So isn't that worrying in itself, rather than having to wait and see if, shouldn't those situations or those moments be addressed sort of after it being about 4 or 5 years of this happening? So
yeah, no, that's a good question. The way I'd reply to that is I feel like we've actually managed to manage a lot of games where a team has raised their tempo and really gone at us.
what examples?
I thought Bournemouth did that. I thought West Ham did that this season.
Okay, so in those games, and I'll say Manchester United as well. In those games, do you feel like it was a situation where you defended well and you managed to see out the game, or were the teams that you played against in those games in those times were a waste?
That's a good question, because I think that's a very defining difference. Because I said that
about massive difference.
Because I said about Chelsea. Because I said about Chelsea in the second half of. Sorry to interrupt you, Ife. Because I said about Chelsea in the second half of Mourinho's title winning season. I was like, that level performance cannot be replicated, and you get the same level of results because it's just mathematics. You can't get. People cannot consistently keep missing chances against you, and that will keep happening. So lo and behold, Chelsea started the next season, and they'll put in the same performances, but the teams weren't being as wasteful as before, and Chelsea get put to the sword. So I can see what Mees is saying in regards like against Man United. I don't think Arsenal dealt with adversity whatsoever. I think they did. Obviously, you got to give credit for getting back in the game and scoring a good goal with Olivier Giroud. But if we're keeping it 100, if United did 70% what they meant to do, you wouldn't have been in that game. Bournemouth, I'm not too sure about that. I switched off that game. But I would, and even PSG, I'm not too sure if I can really give Arsenal much credit for that game, because I think it was just pure and complete unadulterated waste from PSG. But to what Kane is saying, I think experience is also a valid point, because I feel like Arsenal, this squad is a lot more experienced than previous squads. Like you had some Fugazi Dons just about Jenkinson's, Giroud, the Swiss defender, them type of joke men, where now I think Arsenal's squad has a lot more quality from back to front. You've got like Czech, Mustafi, he's played in World Cup finals and European semi-finals and all that type of stuff. Koscielny, he's a big player. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, they've got a lot of experience all throughout the team. So maybe, go on.
Sorry, I had to cut in because for me,
you're not man. I'm not asking me a question and just didn't even let me answer.
No. You know why? Because I think it's mad because, like, I don't think that it's a personnel thing. I just think it's a mental thing. It's a mental aspect. I think I think Wenger needs to be doing a lot more. Because if this is a situation where it's been this way for 5 years, despite all of your changes in personnel, it's clearly not necessarily an issue with the personnel. Yes, they've not been of the desired quality, but Leicester City were able to deal with adversity last season. They've not got a great squad, but I know that may be a miracle example, but you know what I'm trying to say. You don't have to have the best players to be able to deal with adversity in situations where teams raise the tempo against you. It shouldn't be the case. So I don't think it's just down to the players. I think
just vanished from
literally down. Sorry.
Yeah, go on, keep on.
No, I think I think it may be down to Arsene's psyche and the message he's getting across to the players.
No, I definitely agree with you. Like, listen, most squads are going to be just guys. Just, could you put yours on mute, please? Because it's echoing.
Yeah.
Thanks. Most squads are always going to be somewhat of a reflection of the manager. If you look at how they go about things, it's going to be very much aligned with how the manager approaches games, how he approaches, just coaching in general. Like, I think that goes without being said. But it is a personnel thing to a degree, because you could argue that in Arsenal's first title wins, 97, 98, 2001, 2002, 03, 04, I mean, people say this all the time. Arsene Wenger was lucky to inherit the players that he did, in the likes of Steve Bold, Tony Adams, Nigel Winterburn, Lee Dixon, David Seaman. Obviously, he bought Patrick Vieira, Emmanuel Petit, but he had winners. Now, obviously, some he inherited, some he bought himself. Can you say, by the fact that he even bought some of those players in, and obviously he bought more winners in later, that he bought players that kind of align with him? Maybe you could. I think obviously there was a big period where he had players that weren't really winners, whether it be because they had never won before or because that's just their psychological character. There's an argument to be made there.
I'm sorry, I was just about to go in there. Like, how many of those players did you name that you reckon you could call leaders? I could call pretty much every single one of those players that you mentioned, or in their own right, all leaders. Every single one you mentioned, leaders.
But it depends on how you define leadership. I thought we have leaders at the moment.
I think Arsenal have leaders. No, I think Arsenal have leaders.
No, that's what I'm saying. When I mean leaders, I mean when something's not going right, they take things by the scruff and they say, you know what, fuck this, we'll do it this way, and that's how we're going to do it. They find a means. But
how do you identify that, though?
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
It's just an attitude.
Because for me, that's easier to do if you're an attacking player.
No, for me,
I'm not talking about attacking. I'm talking about.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, mate.
I'm literally talking about the defenders. So I'm talking about a Vieira. He's not. I'm not saying that Vieira's gonna go and bust a.
I know what you mean. I'm
talking about shutting games down, like completely locking games down, and that's what I mean by taking it by the scruff. You are dictating how this game goes. Do you understand? So it's not just a goal situation. It's just locking the game down, calming everybody down, saying, right, this is what we have to do. I don't think you guys have that.
But I mean, to be honest with you, I definitely think there's evidence to suggest that that's true in some of the Arsenal teams over the last few years. I feel this current batch of players, we do have leaders. I do feel we've not been in my opinion, we've got Cech, I think is a leader. Koscielny's a leader. Xhaka, even though
I said this before about Cech, though. I said when he came, I said to you guys that Cech is not the leader you think he is. Cech is not extremely vocal.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in this. I think if you look at the back line, if you look at the also back line, prior to Cech,
I don't think he's a leader.
Right now,
genuinely.
Okay, but again, like I said, it depends on your definition of leader.
Ayo, sorry to put you both in, yeah. I've seen.
Your thing keeps repeating.
Yeah, sorry. Going back to what I'm saying about leadership. Firstly, leadership comes in different forms. Yes, you may be right in the sense of he may not be the leader that we think he is, but what I can definitely say is there's been a noticeable change in our back line since he's arrived. Firstly, in my opinion, right? For all of his quote-unquote flaws, we still have a very good goalkeeper in terms of what he's done for Arsenal Football Club, as well as what he's done for Chelsea. And there's been a positive change in our area, so to speak, in terms of communication, in terms of how to deal with things, in terms of also the effect that the players around him have talked about since he's landed. I think Koscielny's a leader. I think that doesn't even need to be said. I think Xhaka has definitely got the character to be one. He's proven he can be a leader elsewhere. I think he will be that for Arsenal. And I still feel like even Ozil and Sanchez are leaders in their own way. Now, the only reason I bring up about taking the game by the scruff of the neck is that I feel like it's more noticeable with attacking players. And I do feel I've seen that from attacking players. I feel Alexis can very much be called a leader in that regard. I feel Ozil is definitely leader in influence as opposed to just out and out overt boom.
Sorry, that one's impossible for me. I can't give you that one.
No, but again, like I said, it goes back to your definition of leader. There's different kinds of leaders. You cannot deny Ozil's influence.
That's for influence, no.
Because leadership, all leadership is positive. No, hold on, let me finish. All leadership is, very simply, is your ability to influence the people around you in a positive way. That's all it is. How you do that there's so many different ways you can do it. But whether you look at it on the pitch, whether you look at or the relationship between the players off the pitch, so on and so on, Ozil can definitely be called a leader.
Quickly, but yesterday when I was watching Arsenal, yeah, I hear what Ife's saying and I hear what you're saying, Kane. But with Arsenal, let's give them some respect because they still tried to win the game yesterday. I swear, Seamus Coleman cleared off the line last minute. Sanchez was still trying. Iwobi had a chance last minute. It's definitely a different Arsenal. I think the psyche has changed a little bit. The previous Arsenal we've seen where they've gone up to March and they start crumbling and that. I think it is there's a lot of points that we've got this season that we wouldn't have got. Of course, that you wouldn't have last season, and there's a lot of victories. To go 14, 15 games unbeaten, you got to have a bit of determination.
Ellis, I hear that, but like I said before, I said it in a group chat. I probably said it on Twitter, and I probably said it on the pod. I don't feel that Arsenal under Wenger have the minerals. They may have the ingredients, but they don't have the key minerals. They don't have.
I think that's fair to say.
I'm sorry, lads. I was going to put in about the Czech thing. I feel like it's quite difficult to talk about somebody's leadership because unless the camera's on them. But one thing I saw from Czech last season that to me showed leadership is when I think last season Arsenal lost at home to Chelsea. If it 1-0, was it Costa who scored? Well, I can't remember who scored. Somebody scored, and there was like a game that Arsenal probably should have won. I think they were chasing the title or something, whatever they were chasing, and they lost to Chelsea, who weren't really doing that well. And at full time, literally, all the Arsenal players like on the ground collapsed. And I remember Czech walked over to Koscielny and literally lifted him up. It's like, come on, let's keep moving on to the next one. And it was Gino and other players, and to me, that's a sign of leadership. And
100%.
And to me, okay, Koscielny is a leader. Of course, he's a leader. But when times are hard on the pitch, like there's nothing in his body language or his action that, for me, has shown that anybody in the Arsenal team has their minerals. Apart from maybe Coquelin. Like I see Coquelin get into man, like, come on, fam, we can still do this type of thing. Like maybe other people do it by example, but in terms of like that type of battle mentality, I don't really see it from Arsenal, like at all. Like the ways in some games, especially Ozil, like, I heard you talk about influence. The Ozil one, I'm not buying. The guy vanished.
Not having it.
Sometimes, too many times he looks funny in the light, but when the light's on, my man.
Like, let me just.
You say that, but I've seen the same. Hold on, let me say it quickly. The same body language that you say you saw missing, I've seen him demonstrate several times this season. Several.
When? What,
oh my God! Even the goal that we scored. Hold on. I'll give you an example. You want an example? If you actually want evidence.
When I said when it's peak, fam. When it's peak. When I've seen, I've never been in many peak situations. Like when you played against us, it was peak, bruv. Donny was MIA, cuz.
Okay, again, you want examples. I'm literally
go.
Right? When we go down versus Stoke, that's a peak situation. When we go down, right? That's just the one. I'm out of several I can name. Right?
Pause. You'll go down against Stoke. What minute will you go down?
Jesus.
Because if it's 85 minutes, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Because you're talking about can leadership only be demonstrated? Hold on, no. Let's not be ignorant. Let's not be ignorant. Can leadership only be demonstrated?
No, don't talk about people because you're pressed. Don't talk about people because you're pressed. The discussion was
when you asked me a question and you asked me.
I said when backs against the wall, when it's peak. 1-0 down is not peak in football. That's part of it.
Listen, you just asked me a question and then you're saying I'm talking over people when I'm trying to answer it.
No, because when I was explaining, because you're trying to come off. So next time, I said where the back skates wall when it's peak. Going to go down is not peak. Otherwise, every football game is peak for somebody, bro. That's part of the game. I said when it's peak, when the light is on, bro. 1-0 down against Stoke, the light is not on unless it's the 85th minute, bro. I'm not having that. Sorry.
So for you, that's the only situation where leadership must be demonstrated.
Again, you're bypassing the question. I'm talking about when we're talking about leadership in tough scenarios. But remember, the game is about Everton when it's peak. You can show. I'm not saying, as I said before. I said Koscielny's showing leadership, man. But we're talking about them tough scenarios, which sometimes dent your season, because in those games, those peak games when against your other rivals, where it's effectively a 6-pointer. Because if you don't grab the 3 points, the next man grab the 3 points. Minus 3 points for you, plus 3 points for the next man. That's what we're talking about, fam. So I'm talking about in those type of games. If you give me examples, those type of games, fine. I'm happy to be proven wrong. But I ain't trying to hear when you're 1-0 down to Stoke and the 10th minute at home.
I fully hear. You know, I hear when it comes to by influence. I can understand that, yeah. But like you said, it has to be in influence. You're influencing when things are tough. It's easy to influence when things are going swimmingly. It's easy. Like when you're playing well, everyone's playing well. It's easy to have influence. That's probably Hazard's biggest criticism. When things aren't going right, sometimes he'll disappear into nothingness. That's his criticism. That's why when he did, when Chelsea were playing shit, for example, and we won the title, and Hazard was carrying us, people were like, shit, okay, this is Hazard's evolution. There's a difference. So I can't sit here and say, oh, Hazard, he's a leader for Chelsea. I can't say that. Despite having probably equally as much influence on Chelsea than Ozil has on Arsenal.
Let's let Kane finish.
Yeah. So, but though I understand by action and by influence, I understand that. But at the same time, in my opinion, when you're a leader, yeah, and things aren't going right, the sign of a great leader isn't just doing his job. Do you understand? So Koscielny will just do his job, and he does it brilliantly. And that's not a form of leadership to me. A form of leadership to me is not just performing and trying to influence everyone else by your performance, but you actually showing action, being decisive in action to influence and uplift and encourage your teammates. It's not just it's sometimes it's vocalized, sometimes it's done in your action, it doesn't necessarily have to be a fist pump or anything, but it has to be a spur of emotion. Well, no, a spurring action to spur emotion amongst your players, amongst your teammates. That's what I mean by leadership. I don't see that in Koscielny. I don't see that there. I don't see that in Ozil. There's no way I see it in Ozil. Sanchez, yes, there's a difference, because Sanchez, he will be pressing by himself. He'll be pressing by himself. So if you want to say by influence, then Sanchez, fine. But you can't say Ozil. I'm sorry, I can't be having Ozil. That's just a bit because you see, even if Arsenal 1-0 down on the 80th minute, 85th, 80th, 90th minute, Sanchez will try his hardest to press to gain the situation or to change the situation. He will try, and he'll be encouraging those behind him to press. That is leadership. Do you understand? That's how I see it. I can't, that's how I'm gauging it. That's why I won't say Koscielny is a proper leader for you guys. I don't think so. I think Mertesacker is more of a leader than Koscielny, because Mert speaks, he talks, he instructs those around him. Whereas Koscielny, he doesn't have time for that. He's putting out fires. He's not really speaking to his partners like that. He's just doing his job amazingly well. So it's different. That's why I say it's different. So though I understand where you're going with the influence side, I can't call that leadership, in my opinion, anyway.
Okay, Kane, quickly land before we move on, because you spoke about Arsenal for the longest time.
No, like for me, it's not even much to say. I think I've covered it all. I just feel like we're just gonna have to wait and see. Yeah,
how it manifests.
Yeah, just see how it manifests. Yeah. Like there's a long way to go. 2 defeats in however many games. Some
I think Arsenal have done the job really. Like I think if you told Arsenal fans you gave them this amount of points, this amount of defeats, top the group, and like there's nothing really to worry about. It's just that maybe something to look out is that reoccurring theme of like when the lights are on, certain man look a bit funny. Like, but anyway, moving on to Chelsea. Chelsea, again, how many wins does this now mean? Is it 10?
Yeah, 10 in a row.
Is starting to get a bit tiring and irritating and quite disgusting how the league is just laying down and letting these wankers just walk straight through them. But talk to us about today's game. Was it at Stadium of Light or was it at the Bridge?
Yeah, it was at Stadium of Light. We played well, to be honest. So it wasn't an amazing performance, but we played pretty well. We deserved to win. Sunderland set up with similar system to us, to be honest. In possession, they were almost like a 4-4-2. Yeah, well, a 4-2. Yeah, no, a 4-4-2 pretty much. And out of possession, they were a back five, and 5-4-1. Defoe up top by himself. He was left isolated. He didn't really give David Luiz any problems. He didn't give Cahill any real issues. Januzaj gave Alonso a bit of trouble for the first 10 minutes or so. Well, actually, to be honest, whenever the ball got to Januzaj, I wouldn't say caused problems, but he looked the most likely of the Sunderland not to.
Your boy Alonso looks funny in the light cast. I'm telling you.
Not really, to be honest. He played all right. He wasn't. He wasn't great. My problem is that if there's space, and I said this before, if there's space, he can be exposed. And Januzaj, quick player, very tricky player. So
Januzaj's a bit of a nut.
He can burst past. That's the thing. Januzaj, I don't think he's necessarily a rapid player, but
he's quick. He's deceptively quick.
Yeah,
deceptively quick,
and he's got a very good burst on him. So he will burst past a lot of players. So Alonso, defensively, I'd say he can be got at. He's definitely our weakest link, 1,000,000%. Him and Cahill are definitely our weakest. Your boy
Gaza, Gary Cahill.
To be fair, but then again, see, credit where it's due. Today, Cahill was all right. There was no issues with Cahill's performance today.
So how will you describe the flow of the game? Do you feel like did Chelsea create much chances and then they didn't?
We were so wasteful, so wasteful.
Really, even Diego, or did he not get many chances?
Do you know what? To be fair, Diego, he had a couple of chances. He had a glancing header that he should have scored. He created an This is what I mean by individualism. Like he is starting to believe in his own wave, so he's creating stuff for himself by himself. It's just ridiculous. And he was on the left-hand channel, and I think there was almost like 3 players around him, and he just took it, shimmied and shifted it onto his left, and he almost just buried it bottom corner. And the keeper, he's brilliant, by the way. Just got behind it and parried it away. But we had a lot of chances, just hitting it straight down the throat, and it was just like
Who scored for you?
So what?
Who scored for you? Who scored for your boys?
Francesc.
Oh, my boy.
Brilliant goal, by the way.
So I'm guessing Fante's doing the business as well
To be fair, in these kind of situations, in these kind of games, in my opinion, you need Cesc and Kante. No, for sure.
And, I see.
No,
I like
in these kind of games, you need Fante. Because the balance is there. Kante is just he was unbelievable today. He's such a top player. Like he gets about the pitch, not just in his defensive work, but his ability to cover the ground and transition from defense to attack. Unbelievable. Like he got the ball today on the edge of the box. I think he just nicked it off of Van Aanholt. And he just glided past 3 players and he got pulled back by Fabio Borini, but still outside of the foot pass to Willian, who slowed it down and fucked our whole. Like Willian is such a frustrating player because you can see he's got all the ability. Like he should, like for me, he's got ability that should make him one of the top players in the league. But for me, I don't see him like that at all. I think Willian is a big problem. That's why I can see why Conte starts Pedro over Willian.
Instead of Willian.
1,000,000%.
And I think also Pedro gives you that more forward movements where Pedro he's making third man runs, as Kane always likes to describe to us really well. And Pedro's getting in behind the defense and stretching the play. Well, Willian always likes to come to the ball, and so does Hazard. So that kind of isolates Costa at times.
Do you know what it is? Like it's not even. All that is true about Pedro. He likes making the third man run. He likes making quick, incisive movements beyond the strike, beyond the defense. All of that, but also Pedro likes to release the ball quickly. He doesn't like having the ball at his feet forever.
I've noticed Willian does that. He'll dribble, slow down.
Willian, that's the thing. Like Pedro, if he's facing up a defender, he's going to do what he needs to do rapidly and release and move on. Whereas Willian will stand there for 5 minutes and shimmy.
Yeah, I know exactly
sideways. And that's the most frustrating thing is you've got Costa Costa making absolutely incredible runs, yeah, and Willian slows it down. And these times, Costa don't know when to make his run. Like, but when it's Pedro or Hazard, the ball's gone. Costa's off. Chance. So,
what's the biggest? Sorry to cut you lot out here, but what's the biggest difference from Chelsea's start of the season to Chelsea now? Like, obviously, I don't really watch Chelsea like that, but
Jeez, Ellis trying to be a presenter and that. I hate that, fam.
Good question.
Do you,
I'd probably say, you know what? I'd probably say, like, when Conte came in the first instance, me and Daniel Swaggerball were commenting on the system. We weren't happy at the lack of support that Costa was getting. We weren't happy with the firepower and lack of firepower. We thought that would come to bite us in the arse. We also weren't happy with the balance of the midfield. We'll call in for. We didn't like Kante and Matic in that system alone because they have to cover far too much ground. Especially when you're only playing two at the back, far too much ground. The number 10 essentially is having to do far too much running because he's having to support Kante and Matic and also having to support Diego Costa. And half the time they're too knackered to have any effect on the game. And that's probably why Oscar right now is probably likely to be sold.
How much is it again? How much are you recruiting
£60 million. £60 million.
Flipping hell.
A lot of money.
Do you know him going China for his ability and his age?
It's sad.
It's like going pen. He's going pen.
It's basically going pen. Yeah.
And I don't.
Man's going country, you know.
To be fair to Oscar, there's been times I've criticised him, but there's also been times where I've backed him because I've also said, although I criticise him, I can only criticise him for how he's playing in his position. But I've always said and always maintained that he's not a number 10. He's number 8. Yeah. So he shouldn't be playing in that position. It's unfair for me to judge him properly because he's not being played in his rightful position. And I feel that that's kind of had a negative effect. Over the years, he's been gradually becoming worse.
Me say this, yeah. Remember when Oscar first came on the scene?
Yeah.
And he was playing well. Remember he was playing wide as well? I feel like sometimes maybe he's better off in that. I feel like when you're in that 10 spot, yeah, I think like your attacking actions have to be so sharp, so quick, so decisive. And I feel like that's not really Oscar's game. I feel like when he's wide, he could do his work rate thing. He's still talented, he could still create. Like, he was tricky and he could come inside and do his like more slower building of playmaking. Whereas when Chelsea were better when they had either Garden of Eden there, or maybe say the KDB on his rare occasions there, or Mata, because they are more decisive in mind and in action. Yeah. So I feel like, and also I felt like Chelsea always kind of had Oscar in and out of the team, and I feel like when you do that, it's kind of similar to what we did with United with Nani. When you're in out the team and you can't build confidence, when you come back, same thing with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Obviously, Oxlade-Chamberlain, he's whack, but it's still the same. It's still the same thing. Pew 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 pew.
Pew pew.
It's still the same thing. So, but I feel kind of sorry for him. Obviously, I know he doesn't get P's, but once he gets sent out to China, bro, it's like going country cars. Like, and it's gonna be and the money he's gonna be on. It's gonna be hard for him to get back into a European team. I feel like,
in my opinion, like, it's not even about the money for Oscar. I don't
just
think
playing.
I don't. It's not even necessarily playing. I don't think it's a thing where he will go to China for the money, and he'll want to go China. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. My career is pretty much done here, so let me just go to China and make money. I don't think that's in his thinking. I think honestly, he seems like the type of person he wants to be in a place where he's appreciated to play and respected enough to play. And that's why I think he'll probably be willing to stay at Chelsea. Not because of the money, because obviously he could be earning triple of what he earns at Chelsea in China. I think he will back himself to stay at Chelsea as long as if they want to utilize him. But if they force his hand and say, you know what, Oscar,
you got to bounce.
Money, you got to bounce, then he'll go. So I think that's the situation as it is right now. I think Chelsea aren't going to force him to leave. But I don't think Oscar's going to say, I want to leave. But if Chelsea force his hand, then there you go. If Chelsea say, we've accepted the offer, what can Oscar do?
No, he needs to go to a good team. Well, obviously Chelsea.
It's sad.
He needs to go to a good team.
I don't want him to leave. I don't want him to go to China because that's pretty much the end of it. Because if you think about like Teixeira, for example, used to play for Shakhtar Donetsk. I've never heard of him.
Liverpool,
should have gone to Liverpool. I've never heard from him again. So it's a shame, but it's just one of them ones. So I don't want that to happen to Oscar because he's too talented for that.
Speaking on his position, I've always thought he was like an industrious box-to-box playmaker.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I always saw him as a number 8.
Yeah, number 8. That's what I thought he was really when he was at Independiente.
Just a better version of Ramsey, basically.
Yeah, but not International. Sorry, not
International.
International.
Do you know what? For me, whenever Oscar plays deeper and has the whole picture in front of him, and he's got time and space, he's excellent.
He's phenomenal, man.
Whenever he has to do a sharp, incisive movement, he's better when he's running onto it, not stood and facing, not where where Guan excels, where he can stop and picture something so clearly, so quickly, and release. Ozil as well. They just see the picture so vividly. So they create a movement, they almost make up the forwards' minds for them. Whereas Oscar, he dawdles when he's in that situation. He overthinks and then he loses the ball. And it's clearly it's not that he's uncomfortable. It's just that I don't think he'd rather be having to do that all the time. He's capable of doing it, but he shouldn't be tasked with the responsibility of doing that all the time. Like whereas Ozil, Mata, this is their natural habitat. They're comfy there. They're comfortable doing that. They're comfortable in, opening up defenses for fun. It's just what they do. Whereas Oscar, though he's capable, he shouldn't be tasked with that. That's like Modric at Spurs. He used to be behind the strike.
Yeah.
But he wasn't barely as effective as he is as a centre midfielder than he was as a 10 for Tottenham. It's not that Modric isn't capable. He's more than capable, but it's just not where he should be positioned. So it's just one of them ones.
Okay. Moving on from Chelsea, who are now top. Well, they have been top. Are you 6 points clear now?
6 points clear.
6 points clear. Okay. Anyway, got to answer our prayers anyway.
No, they'll have a blip, man. They'll have a blip, man.
We've had ours. I genuinely believe that we've had our blip.
Nah, man.
Because I look at everybody else. I look at the way our fixtures are shaped up and set up, and I think we're in a perfect position to just go for this title, and it's done.
But to be fair with Chelsea, let's look at their fixtures. Spurs, they play Spurs at home, United at home, and Liverpool at home. So they've got the reverse of those. But they've already played Arsenal and City away. So their fixtures are not too bad. Well, they got 3 of the bigger ones away. So it's kind of I don't know. But I feel like this
Chelsea away. We've got Arsenal.
You got United, Liverpool, and Spurs away.
Chelsea usually do okay away at United, so I don't mind that. Spurs used to be a 3-point lane to us, so that's all right. And
Anfield's a bit brazy.
There we go. That's a different situation.
Yeah, but then you've got City at home and Arsenal at home, which I back you just.
I'm okay with those.
So I don't know, but I feel like Chelsea, from what, in my personal opinion, they seem to have like the manager and the players who are kind of like most able to deal with adversity. Like I feel like if you look at the City game, that's a backs to wall game because City gonna goal up. The Etihad's booming. Aguero's missed a chance. KDB's missed a chance. Like City are purring, and then what happens? Bang. Big game says bang ball. Diego Costa, big game. Diego Costa goal. You know what I'm saying? Costa stepped up like that. That's what you call like. That's a sign of leadership that we're kind of alluding to. So I feel like I saw fancy Chelsea at this moment, but when it's God in the mix, anything can happen. But okay, moving on to the BT game, United Crystal Palace. So as a United fan, I'm probably the one who watched this the most. First, I'd like to say Crystal Palace are one of the worst football teams I have seen in a very long time. They are absolutely dire. Like anytime a United player was within 3 yards of a Crystal Palace player, and the Crystal Palace player's name wasn't Johan Cabaye, they lost the ball. Like I've never seen anything like it. Like for a Prem level team, like they are so bad. War Zaha, bruv, he didn't do one thing meaningful. Like he is banterous, bruv. Like he's shocking. Like they are so bad. But the problem with the game was that United had plenty of possession, looked super duper comfortable, but I can't believe I'm going to say this. We actually missed Antonio Valencia. What a dark day. December the 14th, 2016, we missed Antonio Valencia. So many times, like, we'll have possession and then you see Pogba look up or Carrick look up, where Valencia is usually high and wide in that final third, or approaching that final third on the right channel. He wasn't there. Bailly was filling in, and Bailly was injured, so he was like kind of taking it easy for like 60 or 50 odd minutes. Bailly would be quite deep and tucked in, so we didn't have width, and we're playing Mata and Rooney, who kept on coming in and in. And Blind, I don't know why Mourinho always has his left backs so like deep. We had no width, so we're playing it. Chris Patch can get it off us, but we couldn't really create. I think Pogba created a fantastic chance for Rooney. Fantastic ball with his left foot. Rooney scuffed that. I feel like we had like a few chances for like cutbacks that should have been put in the right position for Rooney or Zlatan to hit. They didn't quite hit. But then there was a few controversial moments that could have impacted the game. Like we had the goal, which was like just a set piece, ball into the box. Zlatan looked like he chested it down, but it looked like a handball to me. And then Pogba was pretty much offside. So that could have easily gone against us. But I felt like we've had quite a lot of decisions go the other way against us this year. So maybe we'll do one. Then Rojo, man's playing well, but he still does the most dumb stuff. Like, he just lunged him. Did anyone see the tackle?
Yeah, it's got to be a red card, man.
Like, I'm not too familiar with the rule books, innit? Like, to me, I don't feel like tackles that bad. I just feel like tackles mad dangerous, but I don't wear glasses, so I didn't go see the replay. The one against Idrissa Gueye was disgusting. As a United fan, I'll happily say Rojo needs to be banned for 10 games.
It was the same type.
No. The one against Idrissa Gueye, like he fully lunged into man.
No, it was the same.
I don't think it was the same. But I'll watch the replay. But
you can't jump into challenges
like
that.
The Idrissa Gueye one was crazy. Like me personally, you got a 10-match ban, man, because that could end Idrissa Gueye's livelihood, bro.
Of course.
Like if Rojo was to give like a little petulant slap to Idrissa Gueye, he'll get a 5-match ban. Or what did Dembele got? What, 6 matches for like a little cheeky poke?
Yeah,
bro. Rojo could have ended Idrissa Gueye's career. So like that's a 10-match ban. But yeah, he could have easily got sent off for that challenge. Crystal Palace didn't show any threat, but we're 1-0 up. And I was telling my boy who I linked to go watch the game at in Leicester Square, I was like, we're easing off again. Mourinho teams keep doing this, and it doesn't make sense because this is not like Everton where at least they got something about them. Palace have nothing about them. They can't keep the ball. Keep the pressure on, we'll score a hatful if we keep the pressure on. We can't let them have the ball because they can't do anything with it. But it's a Premier League. Any Premier League team could create one moment of decent play, and they created one moment of decent play, and it was a goal. And I was like, here we go again. And then what happened? He takes off Mata, which doesn't make sense. He took off Rooney, which kind of made sense. And all of a sudden, it's like we lost all control of the game. We weren't creating anything. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be another one of those ones. Another typical, we goal up, cruising, concede a dumb goal. Mourinho makes dumb changes. We don't win the game. And then Pogba with a bit of magic, just small boy Kabai, play through to Zlatan. Zlatan, fantastic finish.
What a goal that was. Great
finish, great movement as well. And it just shows why you pay for quality, because that was just quality. Quality won us the game there and then. We weren't banging on the door. It was just Pogba being able to use strength and skill to play in Zlatan. Zlatan, fantastic finish. 35 years old, still to the business. And then we got the 3 points. But we could have easily like thrown that game away. But I'd like to leave the floor to the rest of you lot to ask questions and whatnot.
Yeah, picking up on the point you said, Mourinho has been making stupid substitutions. Like I was watching a Liverpool game with my dad, and we was just reminiscing about how Chelsea's teams, that once they go 1-0 up, it's game over. You can do whatever you want to do, yeah. This is an opposition team, but you're not going to beat Chelsea 1-0. Once he's taken, basically he's like Conte now. See how Conte is? Once Conte goes in half-time, comes out, Chelsea are a different beast. But I'm looking at Mourinho now, having obviously all of us grew up watching that Chelsea team, the early Chelsea team. I'm looking at Mourinho now, and it seems like I don't know if he's lost his like magic dust or.
Do what I think it is, bro. Like
rattled. He just looks rattled all the time.
I think it is? Yeah, I think he is a bit rattled, and also I feel like obviously sometimes some of the games where we create better chances that we got to tuck them in. Like that's not on Mourinho, innit? Man missing open goals in there. However, I do feel like Mourinho's playing a very different Premier League now from his first time.
Yeah.
The teams he was playing before, apart from the top echelon, the quote unquote old school big four with the Liverpools, the Arsenals, Uniteds.
Yeah.
These teams now, the level of quality across the league has gone up exponentially.
It's
like
true.
even if you look at Crystal Palace, look at their stadium. The stadium's trash. They're League One club, really and truly. But they got Benteke and they got Johan Kabay and they got Punchin. I don't know where Punchin was at, and they got Townsend. Those are good players. You look at Swansea. Swansea are going to get relegated. They have
Lorente, bro.
They got Lorente. They got I think he's a baller. Sigurdsson's a proper player as well. You look at Stoke. They got Bojan, Burnley, Arnautovic, Joe Allen. You see what I'm saying? Like the quality has been spread across the league more. So now you can't just sit back and try to close shop because there's too much quality. And if you leave quality 30 minutes of possession in your half, they're gonna create one chance. And if they take it, that's on you. And I think if Mourinho did this against, let's say we're playing against I don't know, Man City away or 1-0 up, and you're trying to see it out. I still wouldn't like it, but I can understand. But if you're playing Everton, West Ham, Crystal Palace, keep your foot. That's what Chelsea do. Chelsea keep their foot on the gas, bro. They have to, fam. Even if they're dropping a bit deep, when they win the ball, as I said in one of my rants to Meads, Moses, Hazard, Pedro, Costa, they're off to the races and they're killing the game off getting that second goal. United, we don't do that. Like in one time today, we got the ball, we won the ball back. It was Herrera. I think it was Pogba, Zlatan. Herrera played the ball backwards. We're in transition. Fam, this is the first time in my life I've seen it. A man played the ball backwards in transition, 3-on-3. I was like, what is going on, cuz? You see what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the problem with me. That's why I'm not having him. That's why I'm like, he's lucky today, bro. Like, if we drew that, bro, I had so much fire for him, bro. I was thinking, bro, man was loading up the strap cards. I was clean the swammy. I was ready for him.
Like,
Pogba Zlatan bailed him out. But go on, Meads.
Do you think, like, I know from my experience and, you know, supporting a team led by Jose, do you think that it's through Jose's instructions to not go for the second? Do you think it? Because I personally think that it's like I think that Jose gives the instructions like if you're not clinical, then you must not lose this game. And I think that's the message he gives. It's not necessarily he won't tell them to attack. I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he'll say stop attacking. I think
no. You can.
He will say to them, "Don't lose this game."
No, but you could get but so I think it's the same thing. It's the same thing, though.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. He will, you know, it's subconsciously having the same effect.
Yeah, because you're playing. As I always say, this coaches put their team even in positions to win or lose. You see what I'm saying? Like you could watching Chelsea. Can you not tell me that? And Italy, for those who watched the Euros, was it the Euros that was recently? Yeah. Could you not see that those teams represented their manager? Like, look at Italy, but look at Italy's team. Gianturini, Eder, even Darmian was playing, Graziano Pelle. Bantamen, Bantosaurus Rexes, all them guys. But they played with such intensity in match content. You know what I'm saying? Look at Liverpool. Liverpool match Arsenal, City match Pep, even though they get clapped. We'll talk about that later. But United right now embody Mourinho, fam. Like, when we're stepping on next, but as soon as we get that goal, we're in game management mode. And I think like we need to, you can just see it, like, and it's just little things. Like if you watch football, analyze football, and you know your team, you can see it in little things. Like how you can see how the teams change is like what we do when we have the ball and how many people are committed to get into the box or getting beyond the ball. And it completely changes if we're 1-0 up or goal up and the minute is past 60 minutes in the second half from compared to the first half. Like if those watching the game today would have seen how we were pressing Palace and they're losing the ball every time. The second half, we came out, Palace had 54% possession. That team, bruv, are you sick? That team.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
That's
so
the thing.
like,
I think a situation where I think beginning of the season, Jose is like, okay, dude. And so yeah, you know what? It's not even on me. How can I control, you know, a stupid mistake, bro? You can. That mistake won't arise if you're still telling your players to not. You don't have to go for it where fullbacks are bombing on. No, like, but put your players in positions to kill off the game, and by killing off a game, getting the second goal. Don't put them in a position where they're having to defend for their lives. And if a mistake comes, which it does come, or if a goal opportunity does come, because it will come if you're sitting back, and then you get punished, and then you say, "Oh well, I have no control over that." What can
Mourinho is a Yoruba uncle, fam. That's what he is.
Bro, he's an ultimate deflector. Ultimate.
You know, them Yoruba uncles they'll get caught slipping, cheating, business trips, and that, and then they'll make it seem like the wife for, "Oh, you keep burning the rice," or "I'm stressed." What
He's an ultimate deflector.
I'm tired. I was far from home. I miss the family. That's what he does, but it's always somebody else's fault, fam. Like, and that's what I just don't feel. That's why I'm onto him. Like, I don't feel like, and you could see he knew he was lucky because you could see his reaction at full time. He was so relieved, bro. He was so relieved, and finally, our quality bailed us out, which he should have done so many times, but our quality today bailed us out. And I'm happy that we also won, because if you see Rooney's reaction when he got subbed, it really pissed me off.
Man, it's a tough thing. I don't know. I think Mourinho's lost it, man. I can't say that. I can't say he's lost it.
I think he's lost as well.
This is what I'm saying.
He's lost a little bit of sauce. I think he's lost a little bit of sauce.
As an avid Mourinho fan, I used to be onto Jose. That was like my guy. I've said for a while now that he's not the same. It's just something in his demeanor, in his eyes,
he's tired.
His behavior. He's just not the same. Man. Something has happened, or over the course of his career, things have happened that have made him a different man, a more bitter, a more
he's really
snarly, a more negative.
He went from charismatic to kind of like bitchy.
Yes.
Like
this is the thing. Like,
it was more like, I'm wavy, you're not on my level, rather than no, you're this, you're that.
I used to get onto Wenger so much because he made me sick. Some of the stuff he was bitching about, it made me absolutely sick. And Jose would say stuff, and you're like, "Yeah, Jose, because you're wavy, you're the guy. You can say this because you're wavy. You're not saying it out of bitching. You're saying it because you're wavy than everybody else. So I can understand why you're moaning. I can understand why you're saying something, but." Over time, he's lost the aura of waviness, the aura of, that charm. He's lost that charm element entirely. It's become more vicious and just overtly aggressive and pointless. The way he digs out players for absolutely no reason. And he doesn't do it in a banterous way. He used to do it in banter. The way he used to banter William Gallas and that was just like banter about, like, now he just digs them out and just leaves them out to dry. It's just terrible. Like, he definitely doesn't, and apparently, according to players, he distances himself away from players now. Like, before, he used to be very close knit to his players.
You can see it. You can see it at Inter and at Chelsea. Players who literally rode for that guy.
Yeah,
Marco Materazzi was crying when he left.
For which I don't understand. Why would he change that if he knows that's successful? Why would he change that method?
Do you know what it reminds me of? Remember in Scarface when Tony Montana started to lose everything. You know that part, you need people. No, not that part. When he goes to his wife, like, all you do is sleep around. You just lie around and get fucked and whatever. That's what it reminds me of, fam. He's imploding. Then he goes to Sosa, tells Sosa that he's gonna kill him. Now he's talking to. That's what he's just imploding within himself. I just feel like.
What about this, lads? Yeah, do you think like maybe like with the new, like the quote unquote millennials and new footballers, the way they've grown up, do you feel like maybe his methods don't work as well on those type of players compared to, because you can see with certain characters, like they get on like a house on fire. Like, you can see Pogba and Mourinho are dogs, and Zlatan. But then you've got the guys who are a bit more timid, a bit more millennial, the Luke Shaws, the Chris Smallings, the Mkhitaryan's. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, bro. Like, I'm trying to get my head around it because he always seemed like, even though I was a Mourinho fan in terms of like his swag and the fact that people the players loved him. I didn't like his football, but I always like player coaches. Like I love coaches that are down and riding for the players and vice versa. How can it switch overnight? It's crazy.
I think he should have taken a break. He should have taken a year off.
I agree. I think
he should have taken a year off.
It may not even be like something he would have wanted to do, but I think just to recharge and come back a fresher man. Because I look at him now, and it's not even necessarily just a tiredness. It's just the all-round aura that he is producing. It's not right. Like, it's just not right. And that's why when I say to you guys, oh, he's changed, and you guys are not understanding, I'm saying that it's not just in his tactical approach. I'm saying in his mannerisms, his aura, he's just a different guy, you know. But yeah, it's just one of them things. I do, part of me hopes he gets it right, but part of me, well, the majority of me hopes that it's a glorious failure.
I'm enjoying this.
What's on his side is that he has bags of quality in his team.
He has great players.
And I think our performances haven't been actually that bad, really and truly. Like, really, we should have won like virtually every game we've played since Chelsea. Yeah, like they're just not like comfortably as well. Like, so I feel like United should probably go on a run. I'm still not having them. I'm still onto him. I'm still watching him. Still got my strap loaded any time for Jose. But we'll see. Did anyone see City or who else played? I know Leicester got packed.
Yeah, Leicester lost to Bournemouth.
Yeah, Leicester wanted to go and beat Man City and then go fell against Bournemouth. So
yeah, you see, I think with Leicester, man, people have clocked Leicester. Obviously, City didn't clock, as in no one's gonna give them 15 yards of space in behind so that Vardy can just go hang and run onto it. Like, no one's gonna do that no more. Like, now you're the champions, they're gonna give you a bit of respect. Come and play football. And you can see that they can't really play football.
So let's talk about like the common fixtures. So I've just seen, I think somebody mentioned that Gundogan's out for a long time. So that means no Sergio, no Fernandinho, because Fernandinho's out here making Cesc Fabregas's houseboy, and no Gundogan. So they've got. I'm sure it's Arsenal weekend, right?
Yeah.
So what we saying? What we saying for that game? Like, how do you see that game going? I think it's at the Etihad.
Is that the Etihad?
I think it's at the Etihad.
I thought Arsenal gonna win that, you know.
Like, I fancy Arsenal as well. Like, City's defense is so bad.
It's pants.
It is so, and this, I'm sorry, yeah, Mr. Trump. And okay, I don't know where Kane's gone. He's not here to defend his father.
I'm here, man, bro.
Oh, okay. So Mr. Pythagoras himself, triangles and all sorts, yeah. Mr. Tactical Genius hasn't noticed that his defense is extremely leaky, poor transition, and seemingly has done absolutely nothing to change it. And
but like, hold on, wait, like, just wait.
Oh, here we go. Go on.
Like,
get a tactic board out, son.
No, like, let's be sensible for a second here, okay?
Jeez.
So
there's no more bants. When we talk about Pep, we can't bounce no more, right?
No, we can't still. No, like, listen, we talked about this in the last pod. Like, there is absolutely no denying that the defense is a massive issue. Now, where I just find it a little bit funny is when people say he's doing nothing to address it. So I know, obviously, you said that tongue in cheek, but
it said seemingly he's done nothing to address it.
Yeah. Like, I know,
so what do you think he's done to address it? Because and then we could go from there.
Well, it depends on like how you feel he has to. That's inclusive of his overall approach. His overall approach will always be to control the game. Now, a lot of people, when they say like how to address it, is to play without the ball a little bit more, drop a little bit deeper. But those things are in complete contradictory to what he wants to do, which is control the game. And one thing he did mention in the presser for this match that happened tonight, and I've not been able to watch the City game so far, but I'll check out when I do have the opportunity, is controlling the second ball. So what he could mean by that is, okay, so if we're going to put the ball in areas where we may not have security, then we need to have the players around that to win the second ball. And whether that means I play players that are intense enough, that can read lose passes enough. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's just playing players closer to one another, because the one thing I know is in the Leicester game is there was a lot of space in between. There's a lot of space in between players in possession, not out of possession, in possession. So that means
when there's turnovers, it's a lot worse.
Like, it's so funny when people talk about their defense, because every one of their goals had less to do with the overall defensive strategy and actually came out of bad possession play. So I'll run it by you. I've not been able to watch this game just now, but I can run it by you for the Leicester game, right? First goal. Kolarov plays a long ball. Listen, Kolarov plays a long ball to Iheanacho, who's up against Wes Morgan and Robert Hoof, with no players to pick up this ball around Iheanacho. Header comes straight back in the mixer, and because you've literally gone from attack to defense in a space of seconds, there are gaps. There's going to be gaps. Naturally.
All right.
Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah, go on.
Second goal.
Let's follow one.
Yeah. Second goal came from a throw-in. Brighton wins the 1-1 draw in the year versus Abaleta. For some reason, neither Stones nor Kolarov are anywhere close to Soleimani. Soleimani lays it back. Silva maybe could have closed down Andy King a little bit quicker. Bang, top binge. You could say bravos, save, the technique that was bad. Boom. There, again. Is that an issue with City's overall defensive shape? Or
yes.
What they...
Hold
on, because I'm going through the goals, right?
Oh,
Third goal, from what I can remember, definitely Kolarov being at fault. Yeah, again, bad possession. At this point, the ball's been won back. It was bad possession play on the right-hand-ish channel just outside of the penalty area. I can't remember who won the ball back. Straightforward pass. Vardy gets it. Kolarov doesn't pick him up. Then he just runs past him. Stones, for some reason, because it was a long ball over to Vardy. To Mahrez. Stones maybe should have closed him down a little bit better. Should have actually got him behind, so Mahrez didn't receive. Kolarov just does not pick up his man whatsoever. So that's just bad man-to-man marking, point blank. But again, where does it originate from? Bad positions taken up when in possession. And the last goal was an absolute joke. Again, I think it was Kolarov, if not Stones, tried to play an inside ball into Nolito, when Nolito had literally two men cutting off that passing angle. They win the ball back. Counter goes on. Stones actually gets the balls back and for some reason just passes it back without looking around him. Body picks up on it, bang, hat-trick. All right? 3 out of the 4 came from bad play in possession. Now, in that type of play that Pep adopts, and generally speaking, when a team has the ball, regardless of what coach he is, when a team has the ball, you're going to be dispersed. So if you don't look after the ball well enough when you're dispersed, then of course we've got to talk about defensive transition. If you know that my fullback is going to be this high up the pitch and my centre back is going to be this split, and I've got no one in around the middle because there's no one looking to pick up the ball well enough, then if anything, it's how do you approach the game when you have the ball? Should have more security, more in terms of passing options. So if we do lose the ball, there's guys in and around, as opposed to just playing very, very random. Because that's what it looked like. There was no shape to their attacking system. There was no shape. And there was bad decision making on the guys who had the ball. The guy who is most at fault is Kolarov. So yes, there is something to tweak in terms of the shape overall, in terms of how they defend. But a lot of the time, I did mention this in the last pod, and I've seen it happen over and over again in games this season of City, is bad coordination in terms of playing out the back, bad decision making. The positional play isn't there yet. And up until that happens, because there's a relationship between how we build up to how we defend. There's a massive relationship there in terms of the style of play. And until that gets right, then it's always going to have an effect on their defense.
Okay, so who wants to go first? Meads? Okay, well, I guess it's going to be me then. Okay, go on.
What you say?
Meads, you want to go?
What was that?
Do you want to go first in responding to Kane's on the City's defense?
Okay, so there was a point where people were saying that he needs to improve his defense or improve his approach to defending.
That doesn't necessarily mean that they're referring to clearing out of the pitch aimlessly. I don't think that's what they're alluding to. I don't think that they're alluding to dropping a little bit deeper, etc. Because in terms of controlling the game, I know Pep's philosophy is control the game with the ball, but that's all fine, but it's all about how you control. If you're able to, so if the aim is to control the game with the ball, yeah, or control the game full stop, surely you should be positioning your players, or surely you should be instructing your players positionally, once you do lose possession, how to cope with that. You're supposed to control that situation. So I don't think it's necessarily just bad defending. I think structurally he's fucked up.
What about personnel? I think personnel. Like I thought sometimes, yeah, we try to gloss over. Sometimes it's just the plays aren't good enough for what the philosophy is. Like if we're keeping it 100, yeah, you're talking. You've got one of the biggest clubs in England right now, challenging for the title. They're trying to state their claim as one of the biggest clubs in the world permanently. That's why they did move heaven and earth to get Pep there in the first place.
Yeah.
And you want to have a defense, and you're telling me your defensive personnel is over the hill Sagna, and over the hill Zabaleta, over the hill Clichy,
borderline over the hill Colorado.
Whatever hill he's on, he's not wavy. Point back period. Company who's in and out of injury. A young potential starlet in John Stones and Otamendi. If you're going to tell me that is your defensive options, how many people would really be happy with that? I'm not too sure if any of us would have been having that as your defensive options from the jump. Cool. And that's also on you, because you have power of the personnel. And also, if you're going to employ, it's not that Pep knows how he wants to play. Like, he's a fantastic manager. He decided that these are the players that are going to implement this. He went and spent 20 million euros on Claudio Bravo to help play out the back, and man's on banter, cuz.
Exactly.
You went to make a big deal of isolating Joe Hart and shipping him out. There's no need. So, I still think it's on Pep.
Exactly.
Majorly.
I mean, you can't defend him in certain situations. In certain instances, I find it impossible to defend him. So, in terms of his defensive personnel, yeah, I can't fathom anybody trying to say, "Oh, his personnel's not good enough. It's not his fault." What do you mean it's not his fault? He's the manager. He had a whole summer to decide on his. Because that's like
a whole summer. He had 2 years, bro.
I don't know where anyone has said he's not at fault for that.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. But people do. People do say, "Oh, the defense isn't good enough. The personnel's not good enough." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay. But they're saying, "Oh, but that's not necessarily his fault, though. It's not his fault for defensive errors." And fine.
I can't lie to you. I don't see that. I've not seen that Percy speaking in it, but.
Yeah, that's because you're too busy in reading the Bible.
Because people are on him. That's why. There's always going to be exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, people are on his case and defense. Bro, from where I'm looking, people are not doing anything but getting at him. And
now they have no choice, because
exactly.
Now it's become a banter, man. And I'm sorry, yeah. Before you land me, yeah. Yes, you have a philosophy that you want to employ. You want to stay true to it, but I'm sorry, this is the real world, bro. This ain't university philosophy degree. This is a real world. You have to adapt to your situation. Those that adapt to situations tend to excel. Yes, you have a philosophy, but sometimes you have to tweaks. Leicester have been getting clapped by everybody. Every man and his dog. Cat and his dog. Is that the saying? Cat and his dog. Everybody knows how Leicester play. Everybody knows what Leicester's threat is. Vardy has looked irrelevant. How is it that when you buck them, they run riot, bro? Because there's so much space, as you're saying, that's due to the possessional play that's not been great. City playing a high line. Like, you got to put, as I say, you put your players in a position to win. There is no way on this earth that if you're playing that style and you're leaving and you're having massive gaps in your backline against Leicester, you just can't do it.
But the thing is, I disagree, because firstly, that style of play, whether it be Bayern, and by the way, a Pep side isn't the only team that employs a high line versus teams with lesser style and find success. Like lots of teams play a high line versus that. But what they do is they manage the ball that gets played in behind before it happens. That's what it is.
So Man City don't have the players capable of managing the ball then.
Ding.
No one is saying they don't have the place to do it. They have the place to do it. It's just execution. That's all it is. Now,
so Man City don't have the players to execute managing the ball then?
Again, I'll say it. Manchester City have the players capable of using the ball well in the areas that they need to. And they also have the personnel to press the ball if they lose it in those areas. It's the execution, though. I mentioned this in the last one. I said to him, listen, at Barcelona, firstly, he did revolutionize the pressing game at Barcelona. But that part of the overall Barcelona DNA is actually already fitting, which is to press it. It's better to defend high than it's to defend low for the way we want to play, because we want to keep it there and we want to also be able to score as quick as possible. And the route to goal is much shorter from 30 yards than it's from 70, firstly. But he did revolutionize at Barcelona. But you have to understand, at Bayern Munich, they were already a strong defensive outlet anyway. I would also say they generally have a lot of intelligent players anyway. But obviously he did what he did there. At Manchester City, a lot of this is new. Again, I agree with you in the sense of you could have bought better. I thought we should have a better backline, personally speaking. 100%, like there's no debate there. But in terms of the personnel of who he has in midfield and who he has in attack, right? It's a thing where we can either say either the players are not as intelligent as we thought we would, as we thought we did. But I don't believe that, because I feel like Nolito's an intelligent player, Kevin De Bruyne is an intelligent player, Sterling's an intelligent player, Silva, Aguero, Gundogan, Yaya Toure, Fernandinho, like even Navas, because Navas understands the system. Having played for Seville and Spain, like it's a very similar system. These are all intelligent players. I feel like they should be able to occupy the right spaces, be quick to anticipate the second and loose balls, be able to cut off passing lanes better than they're showing. Now, whether it's because the way Pep is doing it is going to take time, that's one thing. Or maybe it's whether it's a personnel thing, that too. But at the end of the day, that's the crux of the argument there, really and truly. And mistakes are going to be made. I don't think anyone, the staunchest Pep advocate or even an enthusiast, no one will deny that. For anyone to say or use the excuse, "Oh, he needs better defenders," I personally feel like that's the minority. I feel even before the bad form started, people would say, "Do you know what? Kolarov, Clichy, Sagna," like this conversation was happening way earlier. The volume may have been down because of the 10 wins in a row, and the volume probably got maxed out because they're in a bad stretch of form. But consistently, I don't think anyone was ever convinced that this City defense was enough to do what they want to do.
When he was at Barca, who did he buy? Did he buy any specific defense?
Well, first season.
First season. PK, innit?
Just PK.
Yeah, just PK.
I don't know if he bought Dani Alves, but Dani Alves' first season was with Pep.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, because I can't have man buying 50,000 right wing forwards and not invest in defense, and then the defense is.
I agree. I completely agree.
I'm not saying you disagree or not. I'm just saying that, like, I want to know what people, because to me this is definitely on Pep, because you're the manager, innit? You're the manager.
I think it's on Pep, but I think, you know, when you're buying players, there needs to be the right type of player that you need out there. Now, I say this because at Liverpool, when they was looking for a left back, they couldn't find that right left back. Now, there was names all here and there. So I think Pep and them have looked at it and said that, we can't find the type of player that suits our specific style. So they're going to try and firm it for like a year, or maybe till January then, if that sort of player...
I'm sorry, yeah. That don't touch me. There's no way Man City with the fans... Bruv, do you know what they did to get Pep in, bruv? Them man have been on Pep, bruv. They out here getting players and learning them out to Pep's brother's club, bruv. Like, they've been doing the mad thing for the longest, bruv. Like, no. That excuse don't wash with me, bruv. You can't man out here spending 37 million on Leroy Sané, 30-something on Gabo Jesus. Like, they've got the funds. They could pretty much, especially with Pep on your resume as well. Any defender a lot of the defenders you would like, they could probably make a good play of them. You see what I'm saying? Like, they were chasing Laporte all summer, it didn't work out. Then they fruitlessly chased Bonucci, it didn't work out. Like, I feel like just not getting the personnel, that don't cut for me. We don't let Wenger slide with that. We don't say, we don't know who to get, but Wenger should get something. We don't let him slide with that. So I can't let Pep slide
exactly.
with that.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm proper not having it. And I always say, managers put their teams in position to win or position to lose. And looking at the personnel he has at the back, the style City are playing, not playing first of all, not having 2 goal scorers or playing 2 forwards, it does hamper City's offensive play because they're not converting their possession and territorial advantage into consistent lines of chances, which is demoralizing the team. They're playing and scoring goals and like kind of giving them room for breathing space, like Liverpool do, because when Liverpool tend to outscore the opposition, and having those type of players at the back. So when you make turnovers, which you're going to make in any game, however dominant you are, literally teams are punishing them turnovers at a lot higher rate than, let's say, they'll punish Arsenal turnover. And I think that has to do with Pep. Like, if you're the manager, it is your job. It is your job description to solve problems. Most jobs are basically you're solving some sort of problem. Pep's job is to solve footballing problems of the team. And right now, he's not solving the defensive problem. And that's on him.
It's fair to say. I mean, they were going through a good run now. Now shit has hit the fan.
Shit's been hitting the fan. This is the funniest thing.
To be fair, even during that run, I was probably one of the only ones that was saying I'm not convinced by it.
No, Kane as well. Kane was saying that the defense was looking funny in the light. Kane was definitely on that vibe straight away. And you were saying it because even some of the games are like kind of like getting last minute goals. I think they beat Stoke 4-0 away, but that was not a 4-0 game.
Yeah, they beat West Ham as well. I was like, nah, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, and so so I don't know, bro. Like, so back to the game, I think Arsenal definitely could cause like.
Yeah, Arsenal's got a chance.
I can see Arsenal beating City convincingly. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like,
with the way Sanchez is playing, if they get the runners in behind, if they get Walcott running in behind, stretching his leg, it's peak.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to disagree.
No?
Only because everybody expects Arsenal to beat them. Because everyone has that kind of same feeling that you guys do, and even me. But in these moments, in these situations where you expect Arsenal to win, they never do. So I'm going to say, yeah, Arsenal should win. Yeah, Arsenal probably are in the best situation to win. Will they win? No, because this is Arsenal.
Oh, no, but they never do.
That's why.
How many times we've beat Manchester City in their ground when we weren't supposed to beat them at their ground?
No. This is what I'm trying to say. You're completely missing the point. I'm saying Arsenal should win. Yeah? This is the difference. I'm saying Arsenal should win. They're in better form. They're if you can see yourself winning, then
I can see yourself because it could be a 50-50 thing as well. Because whilst we are in a better form, we are more stable, so on and so on. Pep is a better manager than Arsene Wenger. Manchester City have better players than Arsenal Football Club, and they're at home.
Fine,
so
but I'm talking about. Okay,
there's no should on either side.
Well, I feel that Arsenal in this current situation that they're in, they should see off, man. They should see off City, in my opinion, simply because of the personnel that's missing from City. Defense, the way the defense is being put to the sword at the minute. City's current period of adaptation, I feel that you really should be winning, and in terms of form and everything, putting all things into consideration, I think you should be winning. But at times where you should be winning, you don't. And that's why I'm not going to support you in winning. It's different. It's a different scenario when you're going to the Etihad and if no one's expecting you to win and you do win. It's different. That you can't compare. It's a completely different scenario. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying that I feel that this is your best opportunity to go to the Etihad and win convincingly, or more convincingly than you ever have done. But because you guys kind of get that feeling that you should or possibly will win, I don't think you will. That's my stance on it, because it's just it's typical Arsenal thing to do. In the best kind of shape to go and win and don't win. It's just that it makes perfect sense.
So, lads, what are we thinking? So, I think Arsenal win. Meads thinks Arsenal draw or loss. What's it?
I think they just won't win. So, draw or loss.
Okay. Kane, what do you think?
I'm going for a City win.
City win, and has Ellis disappeared? Okay, Ellis has disappeared. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll quickly run through the other fixtures and we keep it sliding. The first game of the weekend is midday Saturday. Palace versus Chelsea. Palace are hosting. Meets, how do you think that game's gonna go, and what do you think the score's gonna be?
I'm hoping that it's a Chelsea win. Scores, if Hazard's back fit, I think it'll be a free. We'll hit them for frees. Because I just don't think they're good enough defensively. We have got so much variation on set pieces, and they're shit defensively from set pieces. Open play as well. I think we'll open them up. Be a good game. Very, I think, exciting. And even if it is a 1-0 and they start getting riled up and trying to go for it in the end, I think we'll counter them, get a second, and that'll be it. I don't think it'll be one of those ones to worry about. I think today's one was by far for me the most worrying out of our Christmas period.
Okay, I personally think that after watching Crystal Palace today, I'll be shocked if Chelsea don't score 4 goals. They're awful. I think you'll put them to the sword quite convincingly as well. Kane, what do you think for this game?
Comfortable Chelsea win. Crystal Palace are not in good enough form. They have the players. Home or away, I think it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Okay, so we've done the Arsenal game. Who's the other rivals? Okay, United play West Brom away at the. That's the thing. What do the British people call it? Is it the tea time game? They say. Yeah. I think I don't even know, bro. That's West Brom seems to be in good form. Everything that United don't like playing against. I don't know. I think United will win. I think United will scrape through. I think we're starting to get a bit of bottle about us. So I think United will scrape through. I think it'll be a 1-0 win for United. What do you lads think?
I think it will be a draw.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same.
Is that at home?
No, away.
Wow. Yeah, you're definitely not winning.
Wow, for me, that's a draw. West Brom, if it wasn't for Diego Costa, I don't think we're winning that game. So it's just, they're so solid. And if they don't want you to win, they will try their hardest, their absolute hardest, to lock off the game and hope for a Gary McCauley corner kick goal.
Yeah, we'll see. So you're both saying draw, I'm saying win. Okay, and other two big teams, well, in the hunt, we've got Tottenham hosting Burnley. Well, I think we're probably all going to agree that Spurs will win comfortably.
Is that away?
No, they're at home.
Okay, yeah.
What about you? What do you think, Kane?
Home, you said, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going for a win.
Okay, and last December, Monday Night Football, Everton host Liverpool. So how do we see? Ooh, Everton had a hard run. Well, they're all home games, but home United. Then they've had Arsenal and Liverpool back to back. Okay,
I'm going for a draw.
I think Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm going for a draw.
I think Liverpool will slump them.
I think
really?
Liverpool
always slump them. I don't know why they always slump them. I don't think Everton are good either.
Liverpool 2-0. I think
Liverpool can beat them 3-1.
Wow.
Yeah, but we'll see. Hopefully not. But anyway, well, that's probably enough, gentlemen. Thanks for joining. We'll see if our predictions are right next week. And then hopefully, actually, who do we even want to win out of Man City Arsenal? That's with the neutrals.
I'd prefer.
Or do you want to draw?
I'd prefer draw, and when I prefer a draw, it tends to come in. So let's just.
I usually prefer draws, but I want to laugh at somebody's pain. So.
Give it up, Ross. Who wants it, Ross?
Apologies.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I want to.
Terrence Ross.
Wow, man's out here watching. Wow. Anyway, well, lads, it's been a pleasure.
Take care.
We'll keep it sliding. So, yes, thanks for listening. Anybody listen? We didn't do listeners' question today because it's quite an impromptu one, but we'll probably do one Sunday evening. So, send us listeners' questions from now, and then that will probably be whatever. Well, let's keep it. I'm tired. Let's go to bed. I'm eating Eba and stew, fam. Like I won't even finish this time. So, Let's keep it sliding. Okay, cheers for joining us, boys.
Peace.
Okay, yes, that's broadcast has been done.